Hello, hello.
Hello.
Alright, let's do this. Do that. Don't do that.
Oh, don't do that?
Mm-mm. Because, go ahead and do that.
Oh.
See the yellow? So, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Hopefully, people will see that we're live in a few minutes.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Oh, I need to turn this down. I should turn this down. Let's see what happens. Let's see if anybody gets a notification.
There's already 2 people watching.
2 people watching?
But it says there's no one there. Oh, there's 3 people.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, oh, oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna have that song in my head now.
What song?
That Hungry Like a Wolf. Because that's what was playing when we were milking. Hey, Misty, what's up?
What's up?
Just waiting on everybody to get in here and say hello. Let's see. Oh, it's Saturday.
It is Saturday.
Feels like Sunday.
Mm.
Yeah, no. We started off really good. We were highly motivated and dedicated this morning.
And then it got hot.
Mm-hmm.
And
We got hot and we got hungry. Huh. And we stopped for lunch and never looked back.
we stopped. Don't say stop for lunch. We stopped.
We just stopped. So, let's see. Geeky Gardens. Hey, Miss Karen.
How do you know it's Miss Karen?
Because if Mr. Karen comes in, if Sam comes in, it'll say Mr. Windswept. Oh.
I didn't know that. See,
Hey,
now,
April.
Now you're going to get him here, so.
Our greens are a little different. It's like we planned that we were wearing green today or something.
I know, right? It's like I woke up and I'm like, I'm going to match colors.
I'm going to look just like Mom. Sorry we look a little rough, y'all. We literally
just got
done milking.
Had to strain milk.
Yep, had to strain the milk and then come on out here.
Yep.
Or hurry on out. It's crazy that it's still light out.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's 8 o'clock. I mean, I know that, you know, we're getting into that time now, but I'm just not used to it.
Yeah. I mean, we used to get dark at what, 5 o'clock? 4, sunset was like at 4.
No, like 5 something, 5:30 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. You know, when we were milking, when we first started milking a couple weeks ago, right at 8 o'clock, it was starting to get dark. And now it just seems like every night when we go out there, it gets just still a little bit lighter. But I think part of that too is we're getting faster at milking. We're getting more proficient. So is Jason doing okay? Yes, he's fine. He just needed a break. He needed a break. We have a lot of stuff going on, y'all, and when it gets hot and there's a lot of stuff to get done, sometimes it's just a little much. So he needed a well-deserved break. Yeah. Yeah. Wait for a few more people to come in, and then we'll get to chatting. I'm going to tell everybody about how awesome you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard not to gloat about this much awesomeness.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Like, just past the screen here, I can see the sun setting. And it's pretty neat right through there. Gotta get Dad to cut a couple trees so I can see it every night.
No.
No more more tree
No,
cut.
no more trees.
Yeah. We cut a lot of trees, y'all.
I've had enough ankles smashed.
Yeah. So, anyway. Gigi Garden said it's ladies' night.
Yeah. The best night.
Dessa doesn't mind coming on live with me when Daddy needs a break. Doesn't look like YouTube's really wanting to push us out there tonight.
I know.
Or it could just be that it's still light out. Yeah, it's still light out. A lot of people are probably still trying to get some work done. Misty, is it still kind of light where you are? Because you're an hour behind us, so it's still like 7. I know we were talking to Blaze, and he's an hour behind. He's in Texas as well, and since he's an hour behind, there's a lot of times where we're just about dark, and he's still a little lighter. Yeah, send us pictures, and I'm like, did you take that yesterday? Like, no, it's still light out here. Yeah, so. How many of you guys got to see the cow video this week?
Which one?
The second one. The one that came out on Thursday. Which one? That's a good question. Yeah, I feel like I was telling Jason we were looking at some pictures for some posts for Instagram, and I was like, you know, I need to stop posting pictures of just cows. And chickens. We have more than just cows and chickens on our farm.
Duck?
Yes. Okay. Of course it's a duck. That's the mama duck.
No, that's too big to be a mama duck.
Oh no, I walked by and saw her earlier today. So, she looked very big. So.
Our mama duck got...
It's just getting dark here on the East Coast. Yeah. I mean, it's still light out where we are. It's like dusk. Like, it's not quite dark. It's still light enough out there that if we needed to be running some fencing or something, we'd be okay. We'd still have a little bit of light left.
I don't like running fencing in the dark.
I would not recommend having to run fencing with a headlamp. It's not fun.
Headlamp, flashlight, phone light.
No.
Cow tongue.
Yes, it's 7 here in Kansas and it's still light. Yeah, I can imagine like when it was 7 when we first, because we milk at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And 7 a.m. it's starting to get lighter earlier. And it's staying later. Oh, I'm so tired. It's staying later. Well, that's what happens when you have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday. You don't sleep very well. So is anybody got anything in the ground yet? It looks like most of you guys are in the weather where it would be okay. I know this past week we actually had 2 more frosts before it was all said and done. And it was funny because the last one was on the 19th. And I remember saying that our frost date was April 20th. So I thought that was really interesting that we literally had a frost warning on the night of the 19th into the 20th. So I was like, well, there you go. So we haven't planted anything. Well, we planted some stuff today. But we haven't planted any of the tomatoes,
squash,
peppers, cucumbers, none of that.
Eggplant.
Yeah, we haven't planted any of that yet. So we're still kind of holding out on that. Windswept said potatoes, onions, and cabbage. Well, we have
cabbage
and onions and garlic.
Brussels sprouts,
broccoli. Yeah. Did they kill all the cabbage? Did that stinking bird kill the cabbage? We have this one barred rock. And I'm at a point now where I'm about ready to just get rid of all her eggs, but she's been laying in one of my raised beds that over the winter we let it grow up with grass. And Carol was in there pulling out the grass and got the bejeebus scared out of her. She ended up running her hand across and realized there was a barred rock sitting in there.
She got pecked on her hand and then screamed at the top of her lungs.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, and so she decided to walk away from that, and so we've been leaving her alone.
She didn't really walk away.
And every day she lays another egg.
She doesn't say.
But I think we're up to the point now where there's probably, like, she's literally got an overflow now. Like, she's laid so many that they're starting to, like, creep out back onto, because she had kind of dug out a little bit to lay her eggs, but now they're, like, up over the edge and flowing off to the side. And so now she's, like, sitting off to the side laying her eggs. And we thought for a minute that maybe she had, like, moved the ones that she wanted to lay on. And
nope.
No, so I think we'll probably go and pull all those eggs out and go ahead and give them to the hogs, because it's just not, I don't think it's going to be any good to just leave them there. And she's taking up my bed. And the other thing is, because she's been going down there to lay, she's taken it upon herself to go and start scratching in some of my beds that are planted, and I'm not having that.
She killed our big mustard.
Yeah, she killed a couple of things, and so I think I'm gonna evict her, get her out of there, because she's not sitting. I mean, her two other sisters sat. One of them already had hers, and the other one is sitting and should be hatching any day now.
Yeah, she's gonna get killed by bees.
She's not close enough to the bees. She's tucked away enough away from them. She's off to the side too, so but yeah, so those two have been good, but this one is like, she's an egg laying machine, but she doesn't want to sit on any of them. And then we have our little McFlurry. Ladessa calls our Duclay Bantam the Millie Fleur. She calls.
It was once.
She called her McFlurry instead of Millie Fleur, and so ever since it's stuck, which I think it's hilarious, because we don't even call her a Millie Fleur, we just call her a McFlurry. And so it's the cutest thing. The only two bantams that we have left are her and a white Cochin Bantam rooster. They're the only two that are left.
Snow.
And they're like a little couple. And it's so funny because every night they'll get up on the milking stanchion, and while we're still milking, like, they'll jump up on top of the cow, like, get on their backbone, and then hop up to the top to get up to the stanchion, and then they'll roost up there. And sometimes it's funny because I'll be, like, very paranoid knowing that there's, like, a chicken butt, like, right above me. Like, if you poop on me, I promise you I'll turn you into a chicken nugget. Like, I'm not even playing. And so they've been, and then she will wait a little bit longer, and then she'll come and roost up beside him. And it's so cute because she looks like she's, like, leaning on him, and she just kind of hangs out with him. And so the last couple of nights,
she hasn't been getting up on him.
Well, I walked over to check where the baby goats are getting out, and I saw a little clutch of eggs. And I wasn't sure if they were guinea eggs or if they were Millie Fleur eggs. And so then a couple of days later, all of the eggs that were there, some of them had started to roll down into the goat pen. And I was like, oh well, like, you just gotta leave them alone. Yep. Well, this little chicken rolled them all down the hill into the goat pen.
And sits on
and
them.
She's now sitting on a clutch in the goat pen with the goats. Which I thought was funny because, was I on Facebook today? I think it was Facebook. I was on Facebook today, in one of the groups, and I actually saw somebody who had posted pictures of one of their goats was actually sitting on some of the eggs, like keeping them warm while the chicken went to go scratch or get something to drink or whatever. And so I thought that was really funny because I went out there and sure enough, she's just sitting there just chilling.
Yeah.
And so it's really funny because now the rooster still stays up at the top and he'll cluck over.
Lovely.
He'll cluck over to her and she'll cluck back at him, and and then they're good, but it's really funny to see. So Consider It Joyce said onions, garlic, broccoli, Brussels, strawberries, asparagus, and that's all so far. Oh, and cabbage. Yeah. We actually have some asparagus that just like showed up. We're not sure if it's wild asparagus or if it was just accidentally planted there, dropped there, and it just took over. I should bite my tongue, but everything is going crazy growth down here. Corn is almost knee high. Sweet potatoes going crazy. Tomatoes, peppers, cold crops are done for the year. Yeah, well, you're down in Florida, right? I think. Misty said the barred rocks here go hang out with my babies every day to keep them company. They're so funny. Geeky Gardens had to put another bed together today so I have some place to put my okra. Gotta have a place to put the okra, right?
Gotta have a place to put the okra.
Yeah, we made the mistake the last 2 years of putting okra in a raised bed. We won't do that again because they grow so tall that like you just can't even.
We couldn't reach it.
Couldn't even reach them.
And everything was so high that all the okra on the top got woody. Before we could eat it.
Mm-hmm. But the ones that we planted out in the big garden, they did really well.
When was that? A couple of years ago?
No, we planted some out. Remember, because you would put some out there. It was like the burgundy ones. So those actually did pretty well. So yeah.
Florida, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, northeast, central. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on in Florida right now. Bet you're loving all that. Living Miracle, hello. Hey, Teresa. We got a low group of people here today.
It just says that because it's hateful.
Because it's hateful.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do this. Your daddy always fusses at me and I forget to do it. Whoops. That's what I need right there. There we go. We went to get on and it was like, I need an update. I will not perform without an update. Mm-hmm. So we had to hurry up and do the update real quick. Mm-hmm. So is anybody trying anything new this year with their garden?
We are.
What are we trying new?
We're planting corn in pots before we put it out.
Oh, yeah. So Ladessa is going to try and start some corn plants from seed and then transplant them. Does anybody have any experience with that? Give her some pointers. Because this is quite the entrepreneur here. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. You added more money to your savings. That's what I'm talking about.
Ayo.
Runner beans. You know, we did runner beans.
We did those Three Sisters a couple of years ago.
No, the scarlet runner beans, and I'm not crazy about them. They were really weird texture, and like the pods were like hairy. It was really weird. It was really crazy. Have to produce as much as possible now because summer's coming. Most stuff will turn brown then. Yeah, like when do you guys kind of fizzle? I imagine you guys fizzle out for what, maybe a month or so? Because we don't, I mean, I don't think we really burn it. Well, there are some things that burn out, like cucumbers kind of fizzle.
Yeah.
But like beans go all summer long. Okra, tomatoes, peppers, all summer.
I think the only thing that really frizzles is the cucumbers and sometimes the squash and zucchini. Because we've had it, I think it was last year that we planted all of our stuff in the big garden and it all just died.
Yeah,
But
well, the
most
squash
of
did
that-
really well, and then it died.
And then it died, but most of that was also when you have a 1,500-pound bull come in and decide just to stomp on everything.
Yep, started stepping on everything.
But watermelons were good. Birdhouse gourds didn't stop, in my opinion.
Windswept. I would love to get some soldier beans. Are you talking about like Thai soldier beans? Like the long...
The one that looks like dreads?
The long speckly, it's like green. It's got little purple or brown speckles on it. Is that what you're talking about?
I think it's purple.
I think they are too. They, the last 2 years, we have grown the Chinese red noodle or long bean, and we've grown whatever the green one is. We have massive pests in Florida. Yeah, we're not dealing with too much of that. Last year, we did really well with pests last year, and I think part of that was because we planted zinnias and marigolds all over the place, and so I think it did better. Like, we had a better pest resistance, because I think a lot of the pests that we have to deal with would go to the flowers instead of to the fruit or to the plant, so we didn't have as many. July and August are winter. Even peppers will reduce their production. Most everything else just quits. Ooh. They grow them in New England. They make baked beans with them. Soldier beans. I don't know that I've ever... The only ones I know of are the Thai soldier beans. Let's see what she's talking about.
Kind of looks like a black-eyed pea almost.
Oh, that's interesting. It says that the name comes from a distinctive red mark on each 3/4 inch bean that resembles an old-fashioned toy soldier. That's pretty cool. Have to look at those and see if that's something we could do. But she said they make baked beans with them. So that's pretty neat. They grow them in New England. So, Karen, is that something that is probably more acclimated to the north, though? Because I don't know. That's one of the things that we, like, I'm going to try something new this year. A girl on Facebook that I know, I think I'm pretty sure her channel is Bare Bottom Acres, maybe. And she had been looking for a heavy hitter okra when it first came out, and I just happened to see when they had restocked it and messaged her, and so she was able to get those seeds, and she grew them last year, and she reached out to me and told me that they did really well, and did I need any seed? And I was like, well, you know what, I don't know, because she's up in Minnesota, I think. And so I said, the thing is that her area or her weather is totally different than mine. So I'm wondering, like, if we set those seeds, how they'll do. So I'm interested in that. I think they should be fine in other areas. Okay. Yeah. Geeky. Okay, so Geeky Gardens is close to Daytona. Living Miracles in Cocoa Beach. Man. About an hour south. So, let's see. What else can we talk about?
My awesomeness.
Your awesomeness. So, I know we've told you guys that LaDessa had a chance to make a little bit of bank. But I think she's done sold all of her good plants to everybody else. She didn't save any good ones for me. So we got some tomato plants that we have to get in the ground.
I have to water them when we're done.
Yeah.
They looked a little bad today.
They looked a little bad today. You stressed them out?
I think it was just from going from no humidity to a lot of humidity.
I don't know. I think in that room it was humid.
Well, all of a sudden they just started getting little yellow spots on their leaves, and now they're all just like.
Yeah, you
gotta soak them in water. Probably
need to do that. Well, don't soak them, but water them from the bottom. Water them from the bottom. So I went out to go take a look at the cows today. That was fun. It was interesting. We we met new neighbors because our cows decided to go meet them first. And we think it was just the two younger ones. They're still kind of small, and they were able to duck up underneath an area that had kind of been affected by the storm, and we just hadn't had a chance to go back there and touch it up. And now that it's warm, they're spending a lot more time down by the creek, and because they're down there, yeah, I guess they just kind of ducked under, and Bo was not having that, so he decided to go get them and bring them back. In the process, met one of our neighbors and loved on her feet a little.
Yeah.
She's in a motorized wheelchair, and she said that when he came over, he literally just came up to her feet and started nudging her feet. Yeah, so So Geeky Garden says, you must get a good view of all the launches. I miss about half of them due to weather. That would be fun. She said, yes, I see a straight shot from my back window. That's pretty cool. I know we're very fortunate because there's not a lot of street lights around us. So Ladessa can see pretty good, whenever there's any kind of star stuff or anything like that. So Karen says, we had some seeds that we grew in North Dakota and managed to get some seeds from them in Virginia, and now they're just fine here. They've adjusted to Virginia. So maybe that's, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can plant them this year and hopefully they'll adapt to Georgia. We'll see. Should be interesting. Well, I'm not going to bank on just them. We have plenty of okra seeds, so we'll certainly we're definitely gonna, we learned a new way to eat okra last year, and those okra fritters, or it was like a salmon cake, but with okra. I loved them that way, because in that way you can chop them up, and theoretically, because I think I'm going to try this year, I think I'm going to try and make them and then freeze them so that you can just, when you're ready for them, you can just throw them straight into the frying pan and fry them up, because I think that would be really good. And it's a good use for if you don't have, because with okra, if you don't have enough for everybody, then somebody gets gypped out of not having fried okra. And so I think with this, it would be easier to be able to accommodate, more people, to make sure everybody has some okra.
People start throwing hands and it gets ugly pretty quick.
Yeah, we love okra too. Okra is definitely a must-have in our garden each year. Do you have a favorite of which of the okra you like the most?
Not really.
I really like the Star of David. The big, the okras are that big.
Those just get woody too quick.
I don't know. I think it's funny because you have to pick them when they're not super big and super tall. They grow wide, just not as tall.
But see, I'm either what's the red one?
Burgundy.
The burgundy, or the other one that looks just like it. It's just not red.
Spineless. The Clemson spineless. Yeah. I also like the Alabama Red as much as I shouldn't say Alabama in this household. Look at that look I'm getting. The Alabama Red is it's mostly green but has like some red streaks. But its structure is a lot like the Star of David. So I plant most things from seed so they can adapt to my microclimate over time. I'm growing sweet potatoes from seed this year. Wow. So did you harvest the seed from the flowers, I'm assuming? Because that would be pretty
neat.
Pretty neat to do. And how long did it take you? Like, did it still take a full, like, I'm curious how that process.
A whole year?
Well, I mean, just from the seed potato, it takes like 120 days. So I'm wondering from seed what it would do. Yeah, I'm interested in that. Don't know. I don't know. So, yeah. What are we talking about this evening?
Oh,
Pooper Scooper.
Don't say that.
I actually was looking, his wife posted a picture of some cake today, and I was like, that's not cool. Now I want cake. How are you doing this evening there, stranger? We're just kind of chit-chatting and catching up with a few people. Jason's taking a break, so we hadn't really prepared any, like, major topic. We're just kind of catching up with everybody, see how everybody's doing. Root crops take 2 years to harvest the seeds. Okay. So.
2 years?
Well, yeah, I'm just wondering, like, a little older and a little uglier. Well, you ain't got much more to go there, do you? I'm just kidding. Oh, I love you, Billy.
Don't say that because he's gonna bring the cops back.
You know, I've driven by. They came to visit us last year and had a little fender bender, and I ride by there all the time because that's one of the routes that I go to work, and I always think of them every time I ride by there because that was a very, very stressful morning for them. So. So last year we grew our tomatoes. Hey, what's up? Hey there, Terry. Last year we grew our tomatoes using that bamboo trellis that we built. And it was great. But this year we're going to do something a little bit different. And then we ended up deciding that we're going to use the trellises, like the bases of the trellises. We're going to use those for beans this year, I think. We're going to put those still in the ground there like we did. But we're just going to do hills and plant beans in those hills and let them climb up the bamboo. So I'm excited about that. Kiki Garden says, I ignored a volunteer a few years ago and it flowered and went to seed. Planted them this year and those that sprouted are going crazy. Low germination rate. Hey, what's up, Morgan? Oh, and Amanda's here too. Amanda, that cake looked really good. Did it taste as good as it looked? Amanda said Declan's hate of a seatbelt. Ugh. That poor child. Like, he was so stressed out.
Their daughter was so amazing because all she was worried about is a cut that she got from, like, a soccer game. I think it was.
Yeah.
She completely ignored the fact that she was in the car accident.
Yeah.
She was just like, I have more things to worry about, like this cut on my leg.
Yeah. So, but anyway. So, now that I have a few more people in here, how many of you guys got to see our funny thumbnail and video that we had on Thursday? I would love to hear everybody's feedback because I haven't seen a whole lot of comments on it. So it was a little bit different as far as the structure of the video or the way that we kind of put the information out there. So I was just interested to hear what everybody thought about that.
So it won't get your cow drunk.
No.
For those who were wondering.
We did break open the bucket of the fermented barley, the barley seed. Has anybody ever fermented barley before for feed? I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't think. Terry says she missed it. You need to go look at it. It's a pretty cute little video. We enjoyed making it. We really enjoyed making the thumbnail.
Yeah.
I loved it. That thumbnail must have taken some time. It took us driving up to Greenville.
To go to the bar.
Drinking a couple beers at the bar. And then taking a couple pictures of Thelma. And then playing around with it in Photoshop for quite a while. But yeah. I prefer fermented drinks. Look, I'm right there with you, but but I do like my fermented foods. Fermented carrots. Pretty good. Sauerkraut's pretty good. I was hoping you would have showed a tipsy cow. Yeah, well, they're not really, they're really not affected by it.
You would have to give them a lot.
So it was really funny when we opened up the bucket of the fermented barley. It legitimately smelled like beer. It really, really did smell like beer. And I put some of it in. Now, granted, we let it sit for 5 days in the sun.
Yeah.
So I think next time what we'll do, first of all, I won't do all 10 pounds at once. Next time I'll probably just do a cup or two at a time and ferment it, and only ferment it for 2 or 3 days, because that puppy is bubbling now.
Yeah.
It is most definitely bubbling.
It's kind of stinky too.
And it smells like beer. So we may have to give that to the pigs, because I don't want to take the chances with the cows.
Now it kind of gets a little
Now,
wobbly.
funny fact, when we make our muscadine wine, we put, we put all the skins and hulls and everything in there as well. And when we're done and we strain it all out and we just have the skins left, we put those in the slop bucket and we give those to the pigs.
We can't really do that a lot because our cows, or not our cows,
our pigs do actually get a little tipsy. So we have to be careful with that.
It doesn't take a lot for them, apparently.
Yeah, we definitely, so we have to be really careful with that.
Yeah. What you do is you give it to the pen that has a lot. It's been having a little trouble lately. Getting out. Just let them have it.
Yeah, we probably need to toss that. But that's one really cool thing about with us having the cows now, is that every night, just before we got on here, LaDessa goes and strains out the milk from the day before, and we put that milk in buckets, and then we put the feed, or you put the feed in first, right? Yeah. So
no, I put the milk in first, and then I put in a scoop of feed after that, and let it soak it up.
Yeah.
And then I have to put my hands in there and
mix it around a little.
It's nasty.
But it's really, I really am loving that, because breakaway.
No.
I really like having that option, because our feed has a lot of dust kind of stuff in it, and one of them that we're finding out, we're pretty sure, is the DDG, the dried distiller's grain, because it's literally like a powder almost. And so by putting the milk in there, it helps kind of bind everything together, and it also expands a lot of the pelleted stuff, makes it kind of expand some. So it's really we've really been able to feed our pigs more with using less. Yeah. So that's been very helpful with the feed bill. Where's Jason tonight? Jason is taking a break. He's in the house chilling, just kind of decompressing. We've had a stressful week. And it was all punctuated by Thursday evening, the cows getting out, and not like in a crazy like chase them around the county kind of way. Just the two calves had kind of ducked up underneath some fencing, and then Bo went after them because he knew that they didn't need to be over there. Brother. So he went to push them. By the time we got over there, he was actually already pushing them back onto our property.
We really wish that I had given the GoPro to Carol to show it.
Yeah, because it was really cool, according to her. She thought it was really neat. Geeky Garden said a friend's wife got some pigs drunk once, got the portions wrong, suddenly they didn't get it on video. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, we've definitely had our share of watching them. Yeah, because when you're making a full 5-gallon bucket's worth of, wine, and you've got all of those hulls and stuff in there that are just soaking in the wine, and then we take that all out, strain it, and we just toss all of that to the pigs. We had to learn that we needed to kind of spread them out.
So you need to mix feed. You need to make sure that they have feed with them first.
Just like with drinking, you need to drink. Eat some beer or eat some bread.
Eat some beer. Eat some beer. You gotta eat some beer, then drink some wine.
Eat some bread and then drink your wine. So, but yeah. So we with the barley, I think we'll probably just start adding it to the pig's feed. Because the cows don't seem to be crazy about it. They really like this new feed that we got at our much more local feed and seed. Jason said it had I don't know, it just seemed like it was more palatable. The cows seem to like it a lot more.
It has kind of oatmeal in it.
Something, almost. I don't know. Whatever it is, it looks yummy. I would put my head down in there and start. Just kidding. But yeah, it is pretty cool to hook up with, people like the brewery was funny because, I mean, I tried to tell that story 4 or 5 times when I was filming it, and it would never come out exactly the way. But it was just funny because I walked in there with the intention of just getting the dry barley. And when that guy was because I was I guess I'll just get 10 pounds. And he's like, what are you getting 10 pounds of barley for?
You're in the middle of a brewery.
I'm like, well, I'm figuring that I'm just going to ferment it and give it to my cows because I'm trying to make them milk more. And he was like,
do you use spent grain?
Maybe you need spent grain. And I was like, yeah, but I need a brewery for that. And I don't really know any. And he was like, he just kind of looked at me I looked over into the next, because it was the room when you first walk in, it's all the brewing supplies. And then off to the left and around the corner is where the bar part is. And so I just kind of looked and peeked my head around the corner and I saw all the taps that they had. And I was like,
I'm at a brewery, aren't I?
Wait a minute. You guys brew all that? And he's like, yeah, every week. So, what do I got to do to get some spent grain? Anyway, so yeah, we're working the feed angle with them. The other thing that we're dealing with is it's starting to get warm, so animals have to get acclimated to the heat. So we got that going on, and the chickens are being really they're.
Which ones?
Well, I mean, for the most part, we're getting eggs like crazy, right?
I've wanted to punt that barred rock rooster so many times.
What is his name? Drago?
No. Drago was the other.
Oh, that's right. No, he's Clubber.
Kill.
It's Clubber.
It's Clubber.
Yeah. So Rocky is our favorite rooster.
Yes, Rocky.
Because we're all Rocky fans.
Yes.
So Rocky is the big Rhode Island Red, and he's massive. He's almost twice the size of all of his hens.
And Clubber is gonna be stew meat soon if he keeps acting the way that.
Rebecca Scholes, listening to you while going through my seeds to plant. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday, Rebecca. Forgot today was Saturday until I got the notification. Yo, Adrian. We made it. Yeah,
everything was going smooth until that.
Well, so that rooster is the one that goes, oh my God. I don't know if Patrick is still in here, but from Breakaway, but he's actually the one that pointed it out to us. He was like, is your rooster saying, oh my God? And I'm like, yep, I guess he is. And so from now on, like, that's all I ever hear is, oh my God. Let's see. We had to make fake eggs to keep the chickens from eating theirs. We haven't had any problem with that, per se, but that's my Barred Rock rooster is the best. Well, good for you, because ours is an a-hole. Yes. Like, I can't tell you. If you, he's a Barred Rock. No, he's a Barred Rock. So what's funny is that I am telling you, he has it out for me. Jason thinks I'm crazy, but
that rooster gives me the eye.
It must be both of us.
When we, because when there I go again. Couple of years ago, we had a big bunch of chicks, basically roosters that we got for meat chickens. We just tried to do something different than broilers. So he was in that group, but he was getting bullied and jumped.
Yeah, that's what's funny. I forgot about that.
And I pulled him out of there. Yeah. And I was like, here you go, buddy. Be safe. You won't get bullied.
Hopefully you won't get picked up by a hawk.
Scared all the hawks away, protected him. He would follow me out of there every day, and then just for some reason he decided to scratch me on my arm.
He's a teenage boy. He's just
a
jerk.
He's a jerk. There's no rational way to put it. He just has it out for you.
Well, what's funny is I can go out into the pasture and start filming. And no lie, I will be sitting there and I'm filming, and I will see, because the GoPro has the little like finder screen where you can actually see what you're filming. And I'll be filming and I'll see this little fleck, and I'll turn around and that joker is running after me like, oh, you got your back turned, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, so
he does it all the time to me.
When we're moving the Eggmobile over, he goes to the next paddock and brings all of his girls over with us. And just whenever I'm walking over to get a pole or a mallet or anything, he just zoom. And I turned around one day and I just bow. And he went that way. He went that way and I went that way. He hasn't bothered me yet.
Windswept says we've had chickens that sounded like the Sanford and Son theme song when they were laying eggs. Now I'm going to be out there tomorrow trying to listen and see if it sounds like that. So I went to Tractor Supply yesterday with Jason.
Today?
Yeah, I went today, but it must have been Thursday. We went Thursday, and we went to the Tractor Supply that my son used to work at, and I was looking at I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at all the chickens and the turkeys and the ducks, or I was trying to, and they didn't have any. Like, they were all gone. None of their pens were, like, lit up or anything. And so I asked the lady, I was like, are you guys not getting any in? And she's like, oh, we got them in. We're just letting them get, because they just came in. Ba 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 da ba. That's funny. So she was like, you can come back and look if you want to. I felt like it was like a drug deal. Like, Daddy's like, don't let her go back there. And so I went back there. She let me go back there and look at them. And they had some bantams and some Americanas. And they had some ducks. They had some, looked like khaki Campbell ducks.
Did they have any runner ducks?
No runner ducks that I could tell. But yeah. So that's, but that's another thing that we're waiting on is our Indian runner duck. It seems like all of the females in that pen at some time or another has laid in this community nest. And she has now taken it upon herself to sit on them. And I just keep waiting for a chicken to pop out underneath there. Because there are most definitely some chicken eggs in there.
Chicken eggs.
But I don't think they're fertile because Bowie is a little confused. My 2 hens are over almost 4 years old. I'm lucky to get 2 eggs in one day once a month. Yeah, they're definitely older. Sounds like they're almost stew chickens.
Yeah, it's time to...
Well, she said that Tractor Supply needs to hurry up and get done because she needs some hen chicks. Yeah. So we have some barred rocks that hatched out, and I was reading somewhere where you can sex them by their color when they're first, when they're first hatched out, that you can tell the pattern's a little bit different on the boy and the girl. Does anybody know? Excuse me. Does anybody know anything about that? Hey, Kathleen, what's up?
Oh, it's contagious.
I know. It's almost time for us to wind up. It's almost 9 o'clock. My hens, yeah, we have some hens out there, and that's one thing. We were going to do a video on it, and we just kind of shied away from it, was that when we were processing chickens this past year, I thought we had some hens that were not laying. And given how old I think they are, I thought, it might be time to cull them. And because we had other chickens that we could go ahead and move into there, into where they were, into the eggmobile. And so that's what we're going to do. So one day we were doing our meat birds, and I said, go ahead and grab one of those hens in there, and let's process her out, and let's see how many ova she has left. And
she had a lot left.
She still had a lot left. So that kind of we put the brakes on processing them. So then we just kind of were like, well, maybe it's the tarp that's on there, or we don't know. And so I think we were at the feed place. And we were talking to the guy, and we were talking about the protein count, and I had said, yeah, we started using the chick starter instead of the laying mash for the chickens, because it's all the same stuff. It's got the same protein count. And he's like, it's not the same stuff. And I was like, what do you mean it's not the same stuff? He said there's stuff in it that has calcium to help them with laying.
Oyster shells.
It has oyster shells in it, and your chick feed is literally fine ground up corn. That's it. And I felt like an idiot, and so we promptly changed our feed, and all of a sudden, all of those chickens are now laying. And so we definitely, that's one of the things that I've tried to tell everybody that asks, that if you ever have an issue with that, one of the things you really need to look at is definitely your feeding, like what you're feeding them. My barred rock rooster had more white than black, and the hen was more black than white. That's how my neighbor's brother said he was a roo, and he was right. My barred rock rooster had more white. We'll have to look at that and see. I have one that stopped laying. I don't know which one yet. I wonder if there's a way to find out how many my wife has without cutting her open. You need to figure that out there, Billy, because oh man, that's funny. Oh, yeah, no, it was, and that's one thing that I think is really cool is when you're doing all of this, like, you know what to look for, you know, and so we immediately, when we went to process her, and I was like, she still has quite a bit left.
Yeah.
So maybe we did an oops here.
We did do an oops.
But
we did a really big oops.
I'm wondering though if that was like the next step of you're either gonna fill the frying pan or you're gonna fill the egg crate or carton. And like I took one of their friends and all of a sudden they're like, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
They decided to fill the egg carton
instead of the stew pot.
Or
yeah.
the freezer.
Or the freezer, yeah. So, anyway. But yeah. So, that's one of the things that I think we're going to swap over to doing some more dual purpose chickens instead of just focusing on layers and just focusing on meat birds. Because I think, you know, the ultimate goal, obviously, is to be sustainable. And your meat birds, you know, your Cornish crosses, they're not sustainable. So, so I think we're going to really start focusing on getting some dual-purpose birds, paying attention to the roos, and being able to, like, breed those for a bigger, you know, bigger birds. And definitely see what we can do about that. I offer free choice oyster eggshells and a small feeder off the coop fence. There's Tweety from the chicken run. Yeah. So that's what we've actually started doing is taking the eggshells, and Carol has a mortar and pestle. And she takes the lining off the inside of the egg, you know, the stuff that gets stuck on your eggs when you boil them. You know, you peel off that extra little layer. So she pulls that off and then just crushes the eggshells with her mortar and pestle. And then we're using that for calcium fertilizer, like for when they're planting. And then also with the chickens. We do the free choice oyster shells in a cat pan with sand and DE. So do they, Karen, do they not dust? Yeah, for a dust bath. Okay. All right. Got it. That's what I was going to ask, if that's what that was for. Ours will just tear into the ground and...
They're really bad at that.
Yeah, we'll have these little holes where they've done that and made a dust bath for themselves.
Dad runs over it with the lawnmower and it's just whoop.
Yeah, it's a nice little divot. So, all right, guys. Well, it's right at 9 o'clock. We still have a couple things we got to get done, and I'm sure you guys do as well. Thanks for joining us tonight. I know we had low numbers, but it was a good crowd. I loved being able to catch up with all of you guys. What does it say? I tried that, but they keep pooping in it. Well, with the sand, I feel like you could do like almost like a cat, because she said she puts it in a cat tray. So my sister has no more than 30 chickens ready to her rental contract. Holy cow. That's funny. No more than 30. We would be in trouble. Anyway. So we're going to go ahead and call it a night. We've definitely got our videos in the works for next week. So definitely be checking for those on Tuesday and Thursday. I think for the most part it's going to be right there at 5 o'clock, I think. 5 or 6 o'clock, somewhere around in there. So definitely be looking for those. We've got a lot more now that everything's going on. Everybody's got a lot more things to show off and do content on. So if you've got, we're trying to keep our videos to like under 10 minutes because we know everybody's got a lot they got to get done in a day. So we're trying to keep those kind of short and sweet. Oh, I have homework to do. Class starts Monday. That's awesome, Terry. All right, guys. I hope you have a good night. And I get to do this time.
Oh, no.
So, Ladessa and I want to remind you to plant smiles.
Grow giggles?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I'm going to do Daddy's and harvest the love, baby. All right. Y'all have a good evening. Have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll see you again hopefully next weekend. Good night, y'all.
Bye.